Hello, denizens of the internet. Well, there's nothing I enjoy more after spending time helping my in-laws with their computer problems than going out to the woodlot behind our house and relaxing, taking a walk through the woods, contemplating nature. This is my tech support t-shirt. Yes, I know, I've been giving Apple the gears over the last few videos, but I think they're big boys, they can handle it. So now what I want to talk about is the Mac OS specifically. Now there's a big Apple confab coming out, and I'm sure they're going to be going into version 10.13 point something or other of their OS X operating system. But really what I'm looking towards is OS 11. What's going to be in OS 11? I don't think there's going to be, anything in the way of, huge interface changes with the upcoming OS update. Everything's been kind of incremental, but it's been an interesting trip, let's call it, watching OS 10 grow up. I mean, at the very beginning, it was the transition from a really crappy OS 9 to this Unix environment. It kind of started off slowly, but then picked up pace, and it's a very solid operating system. But at some point, when iOS kicked in and the success of the iPhone took off, Apple changed their vision, or at least added to the vision of their desktop application, and added more iOS-style features to their apps and to the operating system. And for a period of time, I think there was a lot of schizophrenic stuff going back and forth because I don't know whether they wanted to, make Mac OS more iOS or not. And I think there were a lot of discussions at Apple trying to figure out, well, how much of iOS do we really glom on? There is some confusion. All I want to do is show you one inconsistency in the OS. And there's many inconsistencies. There's nothing like teaching an 85-year-old how to use the Mac OS to really show up these idiosyncrasies. So I want to talk about the multiple or 3 different quit states.
And Apple gives you a variety. What a nice thing they've done. Okay, let me go through some of these quit states. Let's go with a standard non-Apple application like Google Chrome. There you go. We're used to that. This is actually the way Mac OS X ran for many, many years, and it was still semi-confusing, but at least it was consistent. If someone didn't quit it from the quit menu and they just clicked the little red X, the screen would disappear, and it didn't matter what they did, clicked on the Finder or whatever, but Chrome would still be running in the background. And there are a lot of people to this day who don't realize that Mac OS X applications can continue to run whether they know it or not, because this little white dot at the bottom of the application isn't really unbelievably clear, and not everybody knows what that means. But, that being said, that's the way OS X ran. And, there's other Mac software like Safari. If I quit Safari, it's still running. I can go Command N and it would bring up a new screen. And if I click on the background, it stays running. So now I've got two applications running in the background, and maybe the novice user or the elderly user has no idea that they continue to run. If they've got lots of RAM, then it's not an issue. If they don't have lots of RAM, then it can become an issue. Then there's the introduction of iOS and the migration of some of the iOS applications to the Mac. Well, in the case of Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, it actually migrated to iOS, got flibbity-dooed around, got brain dead, and then brought back into Mac OS brain dead, and then Apple has spent the last few years trying to unbrain dead it, and they've actually done a pretty good job of creating this, application that runs from the internet on your desktop and on your iOS device. I mean, full credit to them. But here's, one of the interesting features in terms of quitting. So I'm going to make a new document in Pages. Okay, not so hard. Okay, I'm going to go blah, 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 blah. I'm going to type away, and then I'm going to close that, save it, and close it. And it shows the little dot that it's running. But if I click anywhere else, whoa, it's quit. So this I call a half quitting application, and it's not so difficult. People can click on it, get a new document. I mean, it comes up pretty quickly. Most of the computers are nice and zippy, but it's a different paradigm from what we're used to on the full Mac OS X platform, and it can be confusing because, people might go, oh, I can go Command N here. Oh, get a new document. This is fantastic. But if I go to the desktop and go, oh, Command N, wait, I'm getting a directory. So what just happened there? What happened to my application? I got to start it. Okay, so that being said, Keynote, Numbers, text edit, they all work, the same paradigm. You click the final screen, and then you click on the desktop even, and it goes away. Fantastic. Apple has set at least a set of rules that iOS applications within, or iOS-like applications within macOS work the same way. So that's fantastic. Let's click on Messages. Terrific. Okay, I'm doing my messagey thingy. Let's say I click on here. Oh, and then I click on the desktop. Oh, wait a second. Oh, the app is still running. What the hell? I thought Messages was part of the iOS kind of suite. Why is it behaving differently? Okay, iTunes. iTunes has become, started on the Mac, but then, has become a big iOS application, and a lot of the iOS interfaces return to the Macintosh. Okay, we're doing our little, stuff here. Then we close that, and let's say we click on the desktop. Whoa! Oh no, this works exactly the same way as Chrome and Safari. What's going on? Well, system preferences, that's maybe will work the same way. If I click it, no, it closes like bang, fully closes quickly, immediately. Wow. Okay, so now you've got 3 different quit states. You've got applications that quit immediately upon closing. You've got applications that sort of half quit until you hit the desktop and then they quit completely. And then you've got the old OS X style apps. And you can see Apple doesn't follow its own rules across a range of applications. And you can have 10, whatever number of applications running in old OS X style.
And all those applications are going to be using up RAM, and they have no idea why their 4 gig of RAM has suddenly disappeared on them, if they know what 4 gig is. I hope Apple is working on a brand new version of the OS. In fact, I am absolutely certain there are walls and whiteboards at Apple HQ covered in drawings of what the new OS is going to be. But this has been lingering for way too long. And that's been my arguments with my other videos, is that, yeah, I'm sure you've got a lot of brainiac people working on this stuff, but you're just taking way too long to bring these things to market. I don't know whether it's because you're afraid of failing and every single product now has to be a huge success. Well, that's your issue, not mine. But from a user's perspective, we really need to see progress. Get the pickle out of your ass, Apple. Good day. Hope the conference goes well. I'll be watching the keynote.